So hey guys, welcome back. So in this lecture I am going to discuss about the DOM in the Selenium WebDriver. The DOM stands for the document object model and why it is so important in the Selenium WebDriver. If you are going with the automation testing and if you are going to write the locators to locate the particular web element on the web page, then you must know about the DOM in the Selenium WebDriver because the Selenium WebDriver only interact with the DOM. So if you know very well about the DOM, you can easily identify your web elements without asking to anyone. So the document object model is the programming interface which is used for the HTML and XML documents in the web browser. The developers use this DOM as a programming interface which basically used for the HTML and XML document in the web browser. So every applications which is running on the web browser, it have the HTML DOM or the XML DOM. So all the browsers support these applications and these HTML DOMs or the XML DOMs. Okay. In Selenium WebDriver, the DOM tells the structure of the web page and its elements as a tree-like web object that can be accessed and used using Selenium WebDriver. The DOM basically tells the structure of the web page. So if you know the structure of the web page, then you can easily identify and locate the particular web elements and you can write easily the best automation script for your application. So you should know what is the DOM in very well. Next is the DOM is also used to interact with the page's JavaScript and access the page state. Nowadays, all the dynamic applications are using the Ajax call and the JavaScript for the dynamic functionality. So now if your application is more dynamic, then how you are automate these applications? DOM allows the Selenium WebDriver to perform the task like waiting for a page elements to load, waiting for the Ajax request to complete, and interacting with the page JavaScript. Some applications are very dynamic, and how to deal with such type of the application, we should know about the DOM structure of the application. So if we know the DOM structures, we can write the best locators to locate our web element. The DOM stands for the document object model. Okay. Now let's understand in the deep what is the DOM. So DOM, the structure of the DOM you can understand by this diagram. So first we have the document and the document have the root element. The root element we call as the HTML. Okay, and this root element always have the element head and this element have the body. The HTML have the two element, one is the head and one is the body. Okay, and every head have the title. So title element always present in the head element of the HTML DOM and the title have the text like the main text and the body have the labels and the H1 like the headings, paragraphs. The body have all these things, the forms, okay, and the label can have the text and the H1 can have the text. In the body you can find the div elements, you can have the forums, frames, every elements we found under the body structure of the HTML DOM. So a DOM have a number of the nodes, okay, where each node represent an HTML element. So these head, title, ID, label, H1, these are the nodes, okay, of the HTML element. And the HTML tag, you can see this is the HTML tag, always comes at the top, hence it is called the root node. So this is the root element and it's called the root node. The other nodes come under this and hence they are called the children nodes. So whatever nodes on you can see my screen, the element head and the body, and under the head and the body, these are the children nodes. Okay. So now these are the structure of the DOM, which we call as HTML DOM. So if you're going to locate the title, so instead of going to body, it's wasting of your time. So if you know the DOM, you will directly go to the head of this HTML document and you will get the title of your web page. Now let's get the brief idea about the type of the DOM. So there are the three type of the DOMs available. Okay, one is the core DOM, which we call the standard model for all the document types. Okay, second one is the XML DOM. So you will see the XML document object model and the XML programming interface you will see for the particular application. So this we call as the XML document. And most of the application have the HTML DOM. They have the HTML coding because the HTML hypertext markup language. What is the advantage of the DOM? Okay, so basically the DOM is used for the dynamic modification. As I have already discussed that nowadays the applications are very dynamic. So handling and doing the automation for this dynamic application is very challenging task. But if you know the structure of the DOM, you can easily write the best locators and you can locate the correct web element on the web page, and this will be this table. That's why I am saying let's understand the DOM first, then we can start writing the locators for the Selenium. Second is the accessibility. Okay, so now let's understand the dynamic modification. The DOM allows us for the dynamic modification of the documents. As developers are creating the DOM, and by this they can make your applications as a dynamic application, which means we can add, we can remove and change the elements and attributes on the page without to refresh the whole page. You can see there are some tables where we are going to add any data and then we remove any data. Okay, so like that the applications are very dynamic and this happen without refreshing the whole page. Okay. Now the accessibility. The DOM provides us the accessibility to the elements in the web page, which can be used to automate web testing using tools like Selenium Webdriver. So if there is no DOM for a particular applications, you cannot automate your application. So the interview question is that, can we automate a web application which don't have the DOM? Your answer is no. Okay. So don't say every web applications we can automate through the Selenium web drivers. We cannot automate. So DOM based applications only we can automate through the Selenium web driver. This is a very tricky interview questions. The interviewer will ask you, if the application don't have the DOM, then can you automate this one? Because this is the web applications and you already know, okay, every Selenium is an automation tool which we can use to automate the web applications. No, the web applications which don't have the DOM, you cannot automate. But most of the application have the DOM structure, and for that we can definitely use the Selenium WebDriver as the automation. So again, I am taking the flipkart.com. This is the web applications. So now if I click on this search box, if I right click and if I inspect this one, I should see the DOM. So now you can see the doc type is the HTML. On the top of you can see, okay, so the doc type is the HTML and this is the HTML tag. Okay, and this means this is the HTML DOM because it start with the HTML and this have the two children elements. So this HTML is the root element and this head and the body is the children nodes. Okay, that we have already discussed, and this body have the different type of the sub children nodes. So div, okay, forums, inputs, you can see the inputs, and you can see the buttons are there, input buttons. These are the children nodes for this document object model. Okay, so like that you should understand what is the DOM, so you can easily identify this is the DOM. Okay, and now if I go to the head, so in the head I should see the title of this web page. So what is the title of this web page? Online shopping site for mobiles. So if I go and if I search the title here, okay, this is the meta name. Okay, so these all things will come under the in the head. So in head you can see the title. That title you won't get into the body part, it always in the head. So now this is the title, and this title is our web element. Okay, this is our particular web element, and the name of this title is this one. It is matching with this one. Okay, so whatever you are seeing in the browser in the HTML DOM, you can automate this type of the applications. Now if the application don't have this DOM, then can you automate the applications? We cannot automate the applications. So we will understand the HTML DOM here. Okay, so now we have the HTML DOM. Okay, so if you can see this is the HTML DOM. Now how the HTML DOM will look like? So it always start with the bracket, and in this you will see the HTML. Okay, this is the HTML opening tag, and if you go and if this is the HTML closing tag, okay, you can see these are the HTML closing tag. Okay, and these tags, and in the middle of these tags you can see the body is there. So first we have the head, okay, and then your body will going to start. So if I say body, and this is the one body, so your HTML tag will have the head and the body. So these are the children nodes, and this is the root node. We call as the root node. Okay, and if I see in the head, so head will have something like title and all. So here the head is going to close. So now we have the body tag. Okay, and if I see the body is there. Okay, so the body is going to start and end with the HTML closing tag. So this is the body. So this is the basic structure of the DOM. Okay, you can see this is the basic structure of the DOM. Okay, HTML DOM. Okay, this is the HTML tag. It has the head is going to end, then we have the body. In this body you have the multiple, you know, the subtext like your ID. Okay, you will have the your input. Okay, and you will have the button. So these are the children nodes for this given web element, for given HTML DOM structure. Okay, so these are the DOM structure. This we call as the HTML DOM. So Selenium will going to interact only this HTML DOM. Okay, so this is all about this lecture. In the next lecture I am going to explain in the detail about the web elements. So that you can see the particular web element, so you will understand like the iframe. This is the one web element. Now how to identify the web elements and its properties of the web elements. Okay, so that we will see in the next lecture.